Went down the wrong hole. Yes, I still have my tree up. Yes, I'm a lazy sod. There's two things I've seen a lot of in my subscription feed already in 2020, and number one is a load of people coming back from the actual dead. People who haven't made videos for 2 years or a year have come back and they're like, the reason why I quit and the reason why I'm back. And I think that's pretty telling in itself about YouTube and the internet these days, and how things on social media has just got really dark, and everyone has their own story and opinion on social media, but I feel like something that we can all agree on is the line between enjoyment and fun and lighthearted stuff is very thin between toxic, damaging, obsessive, addicting. Another thing I'm also seeing a lot of content on recently is my 2019 in review, reviewing my 2019, reviewing my year. I really love that type of content because it's very stripped back. Everyone's just chilling and talking, and that's what I love about YouTube. Sometimes I get overwhelmed by like push clickbait content everyone's making, and I'm just like, I don't know what to watch. The kind of like reviewing my 2019 content is so pure, and it's just chatting away about like the shit you got up to, and I feel as though 2019 I had to talk about because it's been one of the most pivoting, crazy, changing years of my life. I also will finish this video in how I want 2020 to go, where my life will take a turn as the new decade begins. How buzzed are you about a new decade? Where the hell did the last 10 years go? I shared a photo of me 10 years ago on my Twitter. It made me realize that exactly this time 10 years ago was when I kind of got into the emo culture, or whatever you want to call it, like alternative. It was the year I kind of realized I don't want to be like the people I was seeing in Shout magazine, and I wasn't interested in the same kind of music that my best friend listened to, which there was no problem with. Can I just say, everyone's different, everyone's got their tastes. I'm not saying one side's better than the other. Last decade for me was a decade of like discovering myself, and that sounds corny as hell, but like I'm proud to stand by that statement because I was bold enough to walk outside of the guidelines and say, you know what, this isn't me, this feels comfortable, and I was brave enough to express that, I guess, because at the age I was still at school, still at high school, and it's scary enough as it is when you're following the crowd to make a statement and to put yourself out there in the world when you're growing up, when your body's changing and you're not comfortable with things. And so for me to be like, I'm gonna step this up a notch and I'm gonna stick out like an idiot at school when my hair's all fluffy and backcombed and I'm dyeing it colours and listening to music that all my friends are like, what the fuck? So I am proud of myself. Also, that decade brought me a lot of realisation into how I will never be kind of content with my weight. For sure, I'm always going to go down and up and down and up, and regardless of if I'm up and down, it doesn't change how I feel about myself. Like, I've been skinny and I wasn't happy. I've been big, was happy, then I wasn't happy. Skinny, I had my happy moments. But basically, the patterns in like when my happiness started and ended did not correlate at all with the weight I was. So that just proves to me that it's actually all in the head. Losing weight or gaining weight is not going to change that, so I may as well just work on the mind and let the body part kind of do its own thing. But anyway, 2019 specifically, I started the year, this time last year, I was living in Adam's grandma's house, and that is a sentence I did not expect to say at the beginning of 2018, that's for sure. If Ellie told you, like, you're gonna live up north and you don't know anyone, you have no friends, no family, and I was seeing everything one step at a time, literally, and I know that's cliche advice that people give, but I genuinely was doing that, and it genuinely helped. I did kind of make a video about this, like my first experience living alone and something like that, and I spoke about how you should take it one step at a time and see everything temporary, and just know you can turn back and run for the hills if you're not happy with a situation. And that's what I did. So me and Adam wanted to move out together. We know we wanted to live together, and I wanted to do what I do in my own space and have a lot of space to work from home and expand on my business and like make sure it had its like fullest potential and put everything I could into it. But I could do that only if I had enough room and space and freedom. So I just bit the bullet, because doing this, like, my job is the only thing that I've loved my whole freaking decade, like an entire decade of dedicating myself to trying to get me as a freelancer and me self-employed. So I thought, if this is the only thing that I've ever stood by and ever enjoyed, I may as well do something crazy like move across the country. So I did. The first 3 months of 2019 was just us flat viewing, getting used to the northern life, Adam finding a job, and us just trying to understand how Newcastle works, what's here, how cool it is to live near Scotland now, because Scotland is one of the most beautiful places in the UK. The postman. Our front door is so close to the front door of the girl who lives upstairs that every time someone knocks on her door, it sounds like our door's knocking. It's really stressful. The amount of times I've opened the door and then it's just like one of our mates kind of waiting for her to open the door, and I'm like, sorry, thought you were knocking for me. Wanna come over here instead? We can be friends. She's like, nah. Anyway, come April, we moved into this place, so we haven't been here a year yet, but it's crazy to think we are only 3 months away from being here for an entire year. And in that 11, 10, 9 months, fuck, my maths is bad, I have really found myself and what makes me me, and like distancing yourself away from everything that you ever knew, which is in your hometown, makes you realize what you still hold on to when you're away from that. And those are the things that make you you as a person, as an individual, and not your family, your friends, your hometown. And I think that's why people say you should always move away from your hometown at least once in your life, even if that does mean you end up going back. They also say that you should live out in the country sometime in your life until it makes you too soft, and then they say you should live in a city for some time in your life until it makes you too hard. And I get that. Like, I think it's really important to kind of like understand and recognize who you are and yourself by putting yourself in different situations that really kind of test you. And I think 2019 was a big test for me, because I wanted to see if I could do it, not only like as a person who misses her friends and family, but also as a person who is self-employed, and self-employment does tend to mean you don't earn a lot of money, and I didn't know whether I could even do it financially. Like, living on my own makes me want to vom, because it does mean a lot of money, and hence why I did decide to live in one of the most affordable places in the UK. And I feel kind of like gross about saying that, because people that live here, it's almost like an insult. It's almost like me saying, I moved to your end of the sticks because it's cheap here and you're cheap. Like, I'm not saying that. It was kind of just like a happy accident that Adam came from a place that would be a lot more affordable, and there was an option for us to move there. I wouldn't move here just for the sake of it being cheap, if you get what I'm saying. A nice kind of coincidence that I was able to have that as an option because of the fact that Adam has family here. And that is one thing I do want to say about 2019. The people. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea who watches my videos. It's funny because when you're a YouTuber, your friends and family who watch your videos don't tend to tell you they watch your videos. They kind of like secretly watch it in the shadows, and that always makes me feel uncomfortable because I never know what people know, and also I never know what to say because I don't know whether they've already heard it on my channel, so it's very awkward when people don't let me know, and I don't know who watches. But if there is anyone watching this video who knows me personally and particularly has met me this year, like, starting off with Adam's family, I just, other than Adam's grandma, Betty, as you all know, I wouldn't say I'm like massively like close to any of them, but that's the kind of person I am. Even my own family will know that. Like, I keep myself quite distant, but like I have so much love in my heart, and I have so much room in my heart for my family, and I'm constantly grateful for the fact I have a really nice network of people and a support system around me if shit hits the pan. And if I need anything, I have people to go to. If I need a family base to feel loved and to feel like I have people that care, they are there, and they have been there. And I've danced with them and laughed with them and drunk with them and ate food with them and like cheersed with them. I thought my own family was supportive enough and amazing enough, and they are as well. But realizing that I'm with somebody who has a family like that too is just almost like overwhelming. It's like being smothered with so much love you can't breathe. Doing what I do is is quite an isolating and lonely job. I don't tend to meet a lot of people on the daily, on the regular. I'm not even hanging out and chilling out with like a work lot in the day because this is the life I've chosen, so woe is me. I'm not moaning about that. But it has forced me to step out of my comfort zone and put myself out there on apps, meeting people from groups, from Facebook, where I can widen my social bubble and find some of my own friendship groups. And I don't show most of that on here or on Instagram or on Twitter or anything like that because it's like, it's close to my heart and I want to keep a little piece of me private. I have really changed, honestly. I've made a 180-degree change when it comes to finding confidence in meeting new people. At the beginning of 2018, I think I would have said to you, I really struggle meeting new people and I would never put myself out on the line. Sometimes when you're dating from an app, you can kind of like rely on the honeymoon, like fun, foggy, romancy bit to like make it more exciting and to cloud up like opinions and stuff, so like you're not as worried about how the person sees you because they're just excited to be on a date and it's like exciting and all this. But with like meeting friends, it's a bit like, what do we do? Like, how do we like do we bond? Do we get on? Are we laughing enough? Like, do we have enough in common? Like, meeting up with girls sometimes is quite hard because at times I wonder like whether someone's like bitchy or something, so I'm like, oh my god, this is sounding also sexist. But I feel like when you go on a date with a guy, like they're not thinking about like, oh my god, why is her hair like that, or like, oh my god, her makeup looks funny, and oh my god, what is that shirt with those trousers. The point I'm trying to make at here is like, I feel there's like more potential of being judged when you're meeting people online. But honestly, 2019 showed me I had naught to worry about because I met so many nice people and I had the balls to go out and do it. And I had the balls to sit there and be like, I'm a good person, I'm a cool person. If you don't like that, then I'm gonna go find someone else because I'm worthy of that. When someone told me years ago that you get to a point where you just become unapologetic when you're older, I didn't believe them, but you just do. You just think, like, if I'm already finding this out now at 24 years old, what am I going to be like when I'm a granny? I'm literally going to be there in my armchair with like my legs out, like, I don't give a shit, and just like embarrassing everyone, because now I'm at a point where I'm like, I think I'm a decent person. I'm not going to waste my time talking to you if you treated me like shit. And I'm really proud of Ellie for becoming that. I got coffee down my shirt, so that doesn't change though, does it? For any self-employed people, you'll know that January is a time where you have to send off your tax return forms, like your self-assessment, to HMRC or wherever it is. Actually, I don't know if America does that in January, but anyway, in the UK, end of January, you have to send off your tax return forms, and that's basically telling the government how much you earned in a previous, like, 2 years back, 2018 to the beginning of 2019, I had to work out how much I earn for them to look at and tell me how much I owe in taxes, so the Queen can spend it on some shit. I mean, I haven't done my 2019 yet. Since living here, I haven't worked out how much I earn, but from looking over at like the tax return I've just done and comparing it to the one I had the year before and even the year before that, it's made me realize, even though I feel like the struggle is constant in terms of like keeping yourself together and it is a bit of like a self-motivating push constantly, because otherwise you will just fall on your face and give up. It never really gets easier, even if you do earn more and you do become a better business person and you are bringing in more income. Like, it's still a struggle regardless, I think, and no matter how much you earn, you'll always kind of say it's not enough, and you'll compare yourself to the people who work for someone else. Most people who are like in jobs that are more traditional are likely to earn more money than me because they have big companies supporting their wages, giving them their wages, and it's just little old me, a one-man band over here. And a bit like the weight thing I was saying, like my weight can go up and down, but my like happiness of that changes regardless of what's going on the scales. And it's the same for my business. And I looked back at my income and I was like, there's actually improvement here. I'm doing well for myself, and I don't give myself enough credit. And I said to Adam when I worked out my total, I was like, I know it's not a lot, and I know it's not as much as Adam earns, and I know it's not groundbreaking, but it's all on me. Like, I manifested that money from nothing. Like, I worked out my shit, I tried to get my fingers in a lot of pies. I didn't put all of my eggs in one basket, and collectively I have earned from nothing. Like, that's good. That's something to be grateful for, because I spend so many hours giving myself shit for not being relevant and as interesting and quite a small content creator and with like shitty engagement socials and like numbers being low and stuff. I give myself so much crap for that. I know it's not all about money, but I'm doing my best, and I'm making it happen, and I'm making it work. I don't really know where I'm going with this, but I guess I'm just grateful for my career and my job and my hard work, because it is difficult to kick yourself in the ass when you want to just go to bed and you want to just sit on the PlayStation all day, or you want to just spend all your money on takeaways. But you have to make that responsible choice of saying, this is what I want to do, and if I let this slip out of my hands, then I will just have to do something else that I don't want to do for the rest of my life and be miserable and sad. So pat on the back to Ellie, gold star for me. And obviously in terms of my relationship with Adam, it's the best it's ever been. It's the most magical thing I've ever had. Like, Adam is, without crying, other than like my parents and my family, Adam's the best thing that's happened to me, and I cannot be grateful for the healthiness and like the fact there's nothing in our relationship that's toxic. You know, moving out into this flat has caused like arguments about the way we wash up and like how the flat's a mess, and sometimes that stresses me out because I'm an empath, so like my environment is massively impactful on me. Words I'm using in this video are quite questionable, but I'm like, dude, if that's the thing we argue about, so be it, because nothing else is a problem for us. We communicate really well. We are best friends and lovers. We see where each other are coming from all the time. We're very open-minded people, and moving out and living with someone is a scary thing because it's kind of a make it or break it situation. Like, what comes out of moving in with your boyfriend is you either realize he's an ass and you guys could never get along, or I've just realized this whole time that the tree's not on, and I'm disgusted by that. Oh man. That was probably a good thing though, because that's rather distracting. Anyway, when you move in with your partner, you come to terms with the fact that you guys can't actually stand each other when you're in each other's space all the time, or you're like, well shit, we best marry or some shit. I don't know. We're not getting married, but you know what I'm saying. Does anyone else ever look at their partner and think to themselves, we're either going to end up hating each other or just dying together? I mean, you don't always have to end up hating your ex, but you get the point. Like, you either argue until you break up, or you die in each other's arms, metaphorically. Speaking of that, we have a savings account now. We've moved in together, so we're like, right, we obviously like living together, otherwise this wouldn't have worked. Let's save for a house. And we're not doing that together necessarily, like we have separate accounts, but the fact that we made that move and made that commitment is really exciting. Who knows where we'll be next year? Will I be really close? How much money will I have saved? And lastly, speaking of finance and businessy stuff and where things are going from here, I do believe that there will be changes. I feel, for me, for some reason, something in me feels different about content and where I want things to go, and I feel like there's some sort of change wanting to burst out of me, but I can't quite pinpoint on what it is necessarily. I do feel like a lot of my content might shift slightly, and I feel like the best way to go about that is just to bite the bullet and do it, because I feel like when I bite bullets and when I do things, good things tend to come out of it. I kind of can take the opportunity of having a small channel to see things like that, because I do have a space to grow and space to like develop numbers and actually grow as a YouTube channel again, because I haven't done that for years. Like, my numbers are low enough to make some risks. Like, I don't have a massive amount to lose. I don't know how that's gonna sound. I can afford to, is what I'm trying to say, without offending everyone who's watching this video. I want to do more style focused things, and this topic's gonna lead me on to my 2020 goals in a minute, but I want to do a lot of style based things. I'm feeling really inspired fashion wise and how I want myself to look and be, and I'm feeling very inspired. Maybe that's just something in January and it's gonna fade by February, but I also feel like a lot of my content might go a little bit down more the spiritual side, and I think people are going to hate that and be like, "Blah." It's not as though this channel is just going to become all about faith and it's just going to get really preachy, but that is close to my heart. I feel like that's my calling, and that's where 2020 wants to take me for some reason. I feel that way. Tarot reading as a business, as my part-time job, has kind of doubled recently. I feel very, very inspired and very encouraged by people's kind words and feedback about my readings recently, that it's made me want to put a lot more energy into those in the next year. Just push myself to make that become not just a part-time job, but like half of my job. So like, it's not something on the side, it's kind of like slap bang in the middle. The only thing is that with that is I have to be very careful, because it is hard to do a lot of tarot. It takes it out of you, and mentally it's like a bit stressful, and I don't want to abuse that. Oh my god, actually that's a massive thing. I have come so far in learning tarot and studying it. It's a whole language at the end of the day. Like, not only are you trying to define all of those cards, you are also defining the reversals, so what they mean upside down. You're also learning what each card means in every topic, so what that card would mean for a love reading, for a career reading, for a friendship reading, family reading, mental health reading, health reading. Well, I've been learning tarot for about 3 years roughly, but the last year I have made the biggest developments. That is something which you can apply to anything you're learning. Like, just when it feels like it's becoming a bit of a ball ache and it's becoming a grind and you're like, I'm never gonna get good at that, you know, how many more years do I put into this? It just suddenly, you know, like, I'm imagining a ball like slowing down and just becoming like a real push and getting heavier and heavier, and then suddenly it rolls. The air freshener just went off at the same time I said that. It rolls, and then like everything starts piecing together. Like, suddenly things just started flowing and making more sense, and I could do things more freely, and I was just like, things were just coming to me so much easier and naturally, and without me forcing it or looking up definitions and stuff like that. And I was looking at old readings I did last January of 2019, and I don't want to toot my own horn, but I just feel as though I was a different person when I look back at that. I'm like, whoa, enough of that shit. Let me tell you what I want to bring in 2020. Don't usually make new resolutions because they piss me off a little bit, but I'm gonna go through them quickly. Number 1 is I want to get into cross stitch. Not quite sure why. Well, actually, yeah, I do. I've got a lot of digital hobbies, and the reason why I got really into tarot last year is because I wanted to focus on a hobby that wasn't something that I was doing as my job, and I wanted to do something off screen and just focus on my hands and physical things like cards. And I kind of fell into that trap of let's bring this into my freelance world, and then I started doing readings for people. And that is the trap of the millennial culture. And I can just already see me getting into cross stitch, next minute wanting to sell them, and next minute that's not a hobby anymore. But I just love looking at cross stitch designs on Instagram. I think they're really cool. My next thing is to increase income streams. So every year I always give myself the goal of increasing my income streams, which is basically when someone works for themselves, they should always have, like, I think the golden number is 5. So like 5 different ways you make money. So an average YouTuber, it would be AdSense, sponsorships, shirts, live streams, and Patreon, for example. They're 5. So every year I give myself the goal of adding 1 to the rest, which is a little bit challenging because obviously it means you're spreading yourself very thin, and it does become harder to make sure every pie is filled. Meditate. I want to become a lot better at meditating. I'm very impatient, and I will literally be meditating sometimes, right? This is very typical of a self-employed person, again, because we see time as money all the time, even in our breaks. I'm meditating and I'm like, could be making money right now or doing something productive, but okay. I want to get out of the habit of doing that. I want to get out of my head and just become at peace, get lost in it. I've heard some really cool stories about people meditating and like seeing really incredible stuff. I want to do that. I've also put improve on tarot reading, but that goes without saying. I just want to keep practicing and keep reading and keep developing and learning and studying, reading books, going to events, blah blah blah. And also improve on manifesting. That is something that I really got into last year. When 2019 began, when I was living at Adam's grandma's, like I was buying books, buying loads of crystals and talking to people into that kind of thing, and just like having conversations with cool people that inspired me, and buying like spiritual magazines, and I just really dived into that in January. It just took over me. It was crazy weird. The stuff that I've really liked has stuck throughout the rest of the year. So I got really intense in January, and then it kind of watered down a little bit into the things that actually scream out to me the most. I want to make a vision board soon. I want to print out some cool stuff for that, and that's going to be a project I want to take part in, and yes, I will film that. I really like this. It's called Cosmic Ordering in 7 Easy Steps. The way this is worded really helped me understand manifesting a lot more. It was just the way they described manifesting as ordering something online as you would on like Amazon or something. I just love the way they worded this. Get better at digital illustration. I really want to buy a tablet at one point and try my best to get good at drawing stuff. Like I'm always in awe of people who can draw just with their stylus, like drawing cool shit. Like see Nisi more often. Even though I've made a load of cool friends in 2019, I have neglected some old ones, including Nisi, who I love so much. And if she's watching, it's quite rare for me to meet somebody who I actually want to stick around. Get my labret pierced. I will have this done down here soon. Kind of want to do that like next month, maybe even this month, if someone will come with me. It's funny because Adam showed me his old lip ring that he used to have. It was like the ball one, so he didn't like it because it kept getting annoying. He got this out the other day so I could see what I would look like with a hoop done, because I think I eventually want a hoop. Ta-da! I really like it. It will be a lot thinner than this, and it will be silver, and also if the hoop gets like too much, I can just put like a really subtle small stud in. I'm sorry if you don't think it suits me or you don't like it or whatever, but it's my decisions, my life. And my next one is to finally get a feckin' tattoo. I know I've said to you guys, I don't have piercings, I don't have tattoos, it makes me feel kind of unique, and I've said that in the past a few times. But I can't smother the fact that I've always wanted a facial piercing anyway. I don't have any interest in getting my ears done at all. I just want to get something facial done. And in terms of a tattoo, I want to just get something that I've been passionate about for a long time, because I have commitment issues with tattoos because I can't settle on something. So I'm kind of deciding on things that I feel have stuck around in my life long enough for me to not regret them later on. So I've been doing a lot of research in tattoo places around Newcastle and following a lot of Instagram accounts so I can jump on board if they post anything that talks to me, speaks to me. I won't actually say what my next one is. It's about hair stuff though. Recently I've been feeling very stuck in a rut and bored, and I want to achieve something I've never done before on my hair. Everything's been tried by everyone. Like the half and half hair thing was cool for a minute because it was different, but now it's not really different. So I don't know, but I'm going to do something with my hair that feels unique again, because I don't feel unique at the moment. And then my last one is very boring, but it's just have half of house savings saved. Halfway towards my goal when we can officially start looking for a house to buy. And to know that will be me at the end of 2020, because I've like told myself it will happen, because I will be putting that money in, and I've worked out that by 2020 finishes, I will have half of my savings. How is drinking gonna be with a piercing like this? Oh. Can anyone with this piercing tell me whether you have a hard time drinking? Because I think I will. I will finish this video with a thank you. I just appreciate anyone that's followed me on my journey, regardless of if it correlates well with theirs. Some people have been around here for 6 years, and there's no way you can stick to everything that I have believed and like for 6 years. Like there will be changes in me, changes in you, but you've stuck around, and that's amazing. For new people that have found me, thank you. Hello, I'm Ellie, and I don't know where YouTube's going. I don't like YouTube very much at the moment, if I'm honest, and that's something I've never said before. 2019 was the first year I could honestly sit down and be like, I don't like where this platform's going. And I've been on this platform for about 7 years, so like, that's quite sad, to be honest. that I've eventually said that. But I'm just trying to make my own space without the rest of it that's going on. But I'm here to have a good time, and I hope you're here for the journey too. Join me on social media if you want to be notified of all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes on my Twitter or Instagram. I've got a Patreon as well, which leads me to saying thank you so much to this beautiful bunch of people. Everyone else that has ever reached out and supported me. I don't ever blow Patreon money. That is just a heads up. I always remember that money specifically is from people who believe in me, and I don't put it on stuff that I don't feel like is benefiting me to make videos. I only spend it on stuff that I feel is investing in my future, as cringy as that sounds, and investing on my mental health a lot of the time as well, because you need to keep that in check for creativity and for the motivation that's needed for this. So thank you. I love you, and I will see you guys for my next video, whatever that may be. Cheers to 2020.